All right, we hit our limit on time, so we started the next video. We are on the response side, page 94, and over here I want you to remember the blast from the past, and that is these friends of ours. And you had this somewhere in your past. And it turns out when you have a right triangle, so this is page 94, write down sine, cosine, and tangent. And around it you need to draw a right triangle. They only refer to right triangles. So, and we're going to name this the hypotenuse. Aren't we creative? We'll call this the angle. We don't have to use this as the angle, but we have to pick one for this example. So I'm going to put the angle there. Pardon?
Sokotoa.
Yeah, that's all it is. So here's the angle. We're going to call this side opposite and this side adjacent. Adjacent means next door, so that is why we called it. It's right next to the angle. And this is side opposite because it's across from the angle. And the hypotenuse, always across from the right angle. So, do you remember that, Allie? These guys have had it in physics. So it turns out the sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now we're going to go beyond physics class in that there are three other ones, and you've also seen those. So let me move this guy for a second. It turns out that there's a flip of this one, and it's going to be hypotenuse over opposite, and its name is cosecant.
We have never done that.
We've never done that.
All right, so they all welcome to some new information. I'll write it out in words. It's spoken as cosecant, but its symbol is CSC, and it is just the reciprocal of sine. Whereas sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. Cosine also has a reciprocal, and its name is secant. And it is hypotenuse over adjacent. And I'll write out its name just this once, secant. Which it looks like it would be called secant. This is the harder one to remember, what CSC and how it is spoken. And then the opposite of tangent, or not the opposite, the reciprocal, which is going to be adjacent over opposite, is cotangent. And its symbol is COT.
We did SCC and COT, I think, but we did not do CSC.
Okay.
I don't remember any of those.
Okay.
Tangent sounds like we've learned that.
All right. So one are reciprocal. They each have their own that they're reciprocals of, like that. All right. Have you got that down? Oh, wait a second. Now, putting this together with the special triangle, we have our 30, 60, 90. And it was 1, 2, square root of 3. You can now find the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent of 60 degrees. And you can do the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent of 30 degrees. So that's what we're going to spend time doing now. So I will run out. Can they see over here, or should I erase?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, all right. So let's do it all for 60 degrees. And this is in your response. Sine 60, cosine 60, tangent 60. I'm going to do cotangent 60. This is often the order you see them in. Cotangent, and then secant, and lastly cosecant. All right. Looking at our chart here, Abby, look at sine of 60. That means opposite over hypotenuse. Here's my 60-degree angle. So what is opposite over hypotenuse?
Okay, so opposite would be 90.
Now, we're not looking at angles. We're looking at these numbers.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So, square root of 3 over 2.
Right. All right, Allie, same thing, same angle, 60. We're taking the cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. Pardon?
1/2.
Right. All right, Hannah, tangent of 60.
That is square root of 3 over 1.
Right, I'll just write it as square root of 3. Now we can cheat, if you allow me to.
Oh, you can do
We
the
can
other.
just take the ones that we've just done and flip them, right? So 30, square root of 3 is really square root of 3 over 1. So when I flip that, I get the cotangent. Or you could actually go by the definition of cotangent, adjacent over opposite. So you have a choice there. All right, I'd like you to rationalize that. Do you recall how to do that, Allie? How do you get the square root out of the bottom?
Don't you
Oh.
multiply by 3 and 1/2?
Square root of 3 over square root of 3. And what does that give us on the top?
1 times the square root of 3.
And that's just square root of 3. And on the bottom?
1.
What's square root of 3 times
it's
square root
3.
of just plain 3. That's why we did that. That's why we chose square root of 3 over square root of 3. So without writing that out, I'll just write the answer. All right. Secant of 60, Hannah. Can you do the flip of the cosine?
It's 2.
2. And Abby, the flip of the sine.
So 2 over square root of 3.
Right. And then rationalize it, Abby. I'll set it up. And what do you get? Pardon?
Would it just be 2 times the square root of 3 over the square root of 3?
No, what's square root of 3 times square root of 3?
Square root of 1.
Which is?
3.
Right. And that's why we chose that, so we could get rid of the radical. All right, there's a little assignment, and the first part is from, that coterminal stuff that we started in radians, and it is on this page. There's only 3 of them to do.
Should I turn the camera off?
You can just leave that on. Wow. All right, 4.1. Would you circle these? It is 17A, 18A, and 19A. Those are coterminal things. And then in addition, sorry, we're going to work on this page. And it is a chart. Do you see the chart? It's number 17 through 26. You're not assigned to all of those. But on the 4.3, number 17 through 26, do you see that's a chart? And we're going to do on that chart, using our special triangles, just the ones that we can do. So we only can do 30s and 60s. That's all we've discussed. So number 17, number 19, number 21, number 23. Has a cotangent showed up as one? No. And number 26. Could you circle those for me? All right. So, Bailey, that's a little different than the ones that I assigned you. So if you've already done those, you can hand that in for your assignment. All right. That's it, Bailey, Molly. Goodbye. Over and out.
These are both.
Hit the button.